Where does the debt collector crosses in unethical territories? Hello, this is Blind Intelligence. I'm your host, Foresight. I'm going to put out a disclaimer. I do not offer legal advice. This is not legal advice. If you want legal advice, then I admonish you to seek out yourself an attorney, a lawyer, or a competent counsel. And by all means, please be advised. This here is strictly for information and entertainment purposes only. Well, not only. We'll say it's for your edification too. My question today is, how do you define the boundary when the debt collector crosses the line? Some murky waters there, ain't it? There's some murky waters that these debt collectors chart. And you, as a consumer, need to know when the line is being crossed. But how can you determine the line is unethical that they're crossing when you don't know what your rights are? Knowing what your rights are will put you in a better position to know when the debt collector is crossing unethical boundaries. Knowing what your rights are. Do not sleep on your rights. Read everything. Everything. Read everything. Because the debt collector has no rights. They only have presumptions and assumptions because they're acting in color of law. That's where they how they move and where they move. Because at the bottom of that letter, when you receive it in the mail from a debt collector, they're going to say, we're going to assume that the debt is valid. That's an assumption. Being that you don't answer, you acquiesce to it. Why would you acquiesce to something that is an assumption? Why? Because you don't know what your rights are. You rebut a presumption or an assumption with a fact. And the way you do it is you correspond back with them. You should never, ever get to court. Yeah, I use those fill words because I want to reiterate that. This should never get to court. If it gets to court, that means that you have done something wrong. And the debt collector will capitalize on you sleeping on your rights. You get the letter in the mail You rip it up, you put it in the trash, you don't address it. Because you know that debt collector you didn't get that money from that debt collector. So you rip it up and you put it in the trash. Now you got a summons in the mail. Or not in the mail, rather. You got the sheriff coming and handing you a summons. Someone over the age of 18 in your house. Now you got a summons. What am I going to do with this? This, by all means, is your fault. Because you slept on your rights. Your rights is not to be slept on. By no means. You are to sleep on your rights. Because the debt collector is hoping that you sleep on your rights. That's how they make their money. Multi-billion, maybe up in the $1 trillion business. These debt collectors are constantly capitalizing on the American people because we don't know what our rights are. And the books are there for you. The books are there for you to fight back. You got consumer law under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act that nobody even discusses. No books wasn't put there. The Congress didn't do that just for kicks and laughs. They did it to protect your rights. But like you, who don't know what your rights are, you're the type of person is going to go into court and make a fool of yourself. Going into court, you're arguing facts, arguing law, and you're trying to play attorney because you done got all your information at the last minute. Or you done seeked out somebody that knows and they give you this information and you cherry pick through it. And you just get this, that, or the other because it sounds good. There are no magic words when you go to court. There are no magic words when you go to court. It's either you know your information or you do not. No magic words is going to get you out of your situation. I cannot write up you a document and tell you, say, hey, this is what you need to say. No, it doesn't work that way. But meaning if you're going to go in there and you're going to act like you know what you're talking about because the person that you've gotten information from has had proven results. But unlike you, that person has studied. That person has did their due diligence, but you did not. And you're going to go into court and you're probably going to say, I demand my constitutional rights. Or you're going to say something that has nothing to do with your case. You're going to bring in documentation that has nothing to do with your case. You're going to make a fool of yourself. Now, there's a whole saying. It's what you can prove, and it's not what you know. You can go to the courthouse and you can quote him the Constitution for the United States of America all you want. You can talk about this fact, this law, all you want. But if it does not pertain to your situation, you're just blowing smoke, and you're most likely is going to get a contempt charge. Because the judges ain't got time for it. It's not that they're not playing. Well, they're not playing, but it's not that they're evil. They're doing everything right, and you're doing everything wrong. They ain't got time. They got cases and cases stacked. They're not finna come in here and deal with your nonsense because you slept on your rights. You didn't want to answer the letters that were sent to you from the beginning. And then you want to go into court and showboat. Oh, and don't hire an attorney. If you hire an attorney, you're going to lose. You're going to wind up paying something. You're going to wind up paying something. If you're not paying that attorney, you're going to be paying. You're going to pay something to that court. Because the attorney is an officer of the court. He's not in your favor. He's going to tell you he's in your favor, but he is an officer of the court. Know what your rights are before this even. You should never ever get to court, ever. And the way you do that is you study. You do your due diligence before you even get in this mess. Now, get me wrong. Sometimes you gotta bump your head. I understand that. I understand this is your first rodeo. But this is how we get out of it. We don't get out of it with magic words. Many of you don't even know the power of appointment of 1951 and how powerful that is. That is those reading that type of information takes time. Where does that apply to you though? Because I said it? Because some guru on the internet has stated it? No. It's up to you. Debt collectors win when you do not know, when you sleep on your rights. You lose because you don't know what your rights are. And that is the crux on the reason why those debt collectors constantly is making money. Yes, you took the money from your creditor and you took $2,000 and your remaining balance was $500. Debt collectors coming after you for the $500 after 180 days because the creditor has written it off. They have written it off. On my next podcast, I'm going to be discussing about those inside creditors and what you can do, because now a lot of them has changed their tactics. Instead of the third-party debt collectors coming after you, they got the inside debt collector that comes after you, and there is something that you can do. Regardless of whether they're the creditors, do not think that you can't do anything about it. There are strategies that you can do. Do me a favor. Please click like if you enjoyed what you've heard, because it helps with my analytics. Please share this to ones who you think that needs to hear this, and click that notification bell so when I come back on, you'll be notified. I thank you. I thank you all for listening. I will be coming back with some more information about these debt collectors and your rights. So stay tuned. I am Foresight, and this is Blind Intelligence.